This right here is the Sony FX6, and this is not really what today's video is even about. Today's video is going to be my reaction as a solo filmmaker and someone who uses the FX6 on a regular to the Sony Burano. As an FX6 owner, I have several problems with this camera, but overall, it is an awesome experience for the solo filmmaker. So I'm going to talk about the Sony Burano in relation to my problems with the Sony FX6. As a full-time filmmaker this year, I'm looking to have a camera that I can grow with and not really outgrow, if you get what I'm saying. For starters, the battery. I actually have a Tilta, I'm gonna take it out right now. I have a Tilta extended battery life here that you plug into the back of the Sony FX6. It's like a V-mount setup. You press this button here and the V-mount battery comes off. Pretty efficient setup, lasts around like 6-7 hours. Sorry you hear all that noise there, and plugs into the DCI cord of the Sony FX6. Now, however, my problem is this right here. One, you can't get into the memory box right here in the back, like it's super hard to, and that's what the Sony Burano kind of addresses in a much more expensive luxury type of package. It has a V-mount battery grip right on the camera body, which really eliminates the need for this adapter. Sorry, Tilta. The Sony image on their prosumer and lower cinema cameras is known to be very clinical and very scientific in how to get the colors that you want. And having that extra stop in dynamic range, which is around, I think, let me see, 16 now on the Sony Burano, it adds that much more color depth and color science that you're able to get out of your shots. You're able to have now different moods and different feelings come from your work that you wouldn't necessarily been able to do beforehand. So you see this giant rig. This is a Zacuto shoulder rig with an ACT plate and a Z Finder, which I do not have here, which lets you look through and, frame up the shots the way you need to. Why am I talking about this? Because this allows me to stabilize my shots a little further and get that personal perspective when I'm run and gun filmmaking. It is, however, really shaky sometimes, and I'll show you with this footage right here. Yeah, as you can see, having IBIS would be so clutch at this camera, and again, the Sony Burano answers that with having IBIS. Having the top handle on the FX6 is awesome. Having it off is terrible because you have no sound, right? So the Sony FX6 has these two ports right here in the top handle, and the Sony Burano has it right into the camera body, which is awesome right there. The Sony Burano also has multiple SDI ports and the ability to have multiple forms of power going into the camera. Because I have this Tilta battery cage on here, it plugs up actually two forms of the power in the Sony FX6. So if I wanted to do anything extra, I couldn't. Burano handles that. The Sony FX6, if you guys can see here, I'm going to take this Helios lens off here. This is one of my favorite lenses, by the way. This is an E-mount. So having an E-mount as a cinema camera is extremely hard. One, because a lot of cinema lenses are PL or different mounts, and having that PL mount as a Sony camera right off the body is sick with the Burano. Like, I feel like that's going to be super helpful for so many filmmakers out there. The Sony Burano also has the dual base ISO of 800 and 3200, mirroring that of the Venice and the Venice 2. And the Sony Burano has one of my favorite Sony FX6 features, which is that built-in electronic variable ND filter. That is so much to say. Built-in electronic variable neutral density filter. That is like so much to say, but yes, it has it, and I definitely love it being on the FX6. Meaning that it makes this camera right here so easy to be used running gun style. Adding to that PL talk that we said before, the Sony Burano also has an 8.6K sensor. However, when you shoot in certain modes, it does crop into the 4K, which doesn't use a lot of that sensor. Sony is known for their autofocus, and the Burano just really improves on that. So if you're looking for, an improved autofocus on your kit, that camera is going to be for you. So who is this camera for? Honestly, it's between the FX9 price and the Venice price at $25,000. The Sony FX6 is $6,000, right? But if you end up rigging this thing out with stabilization, memory, what else? Batteries, monitors, grips, all that type of stuff, this ends up being like $12,000, $13,000. So keep that in mind. One of the coolest things about the Sony Burano is that you can actually take the handle off of the FX9 and put it in there and have all those integrated features like, start recording, zoom in, zoom out, and using the menu system with the top handle. Pretty awesome with them. Thank you, Sony. Do I see myself getting this $25,000 camera right now? No. Do I see myself maybe getting it 2-3 years down the line? Maybe. And will it be more affordable? I hope so. I had the Sony a7 III for 4 years. I had the Sony a6100 up until like 6 months ago, and I was doing client work with both of those cameras. And now I just feel like I need to bump my level up with the variable ND and with just working on teams. So I feel like having the FX6 for the next couple of years is a great investment. I feel like I should make at least $100K or $200K off of this camera before I go investing $25,000 into a Sony Burano. If you like the music on my channel, be sure to check out Track Club. They actually gave me a ambassador link, which gives you 2 months free when you sign up. So if you want to use it for either your client work or your YouTube channel, be sure to check it out. And I just wanted to get this, video out mainly because, you know, one, it does well on the YouTube algorithm, which is cool to see new people seeing my channel and that passion I have for creativity and just my business in general. And two, because it generally interests me. Like, Sony has been coming out with camera after camera, and you guys can comment that, you know, below, like, what's your favorite Sony camera, or what do you want to see out of Sony after you bought one of the cameras that they have. Start somewhere is my motto. I've been saying it since day one. We all gotta start somewhere. Like, you can all do it. Do what I do. Take it one day at a time. And look, I got the FX6 right here as proof. Like, I was making videos on my desktop 4 years ago. Then I got a GoPro. With my iPhone, I was using that with a little gimbal. Then I got the a6100, then I got the a7 III, and now I have the FX6, maybe a Burano or a Venice in the future, but I'm growing and I'm learning all the lighting and music and sound and stuff as I'm going. I'm not biting off more than I can chew. Take it step by step. Like I said before, start somewhere. Sony Burano, awesome camera. It's your boy Kip Jackson. Start somewhere. Peace.